Hello, Merry Meet. So, I have a book to review, and I'm not pleased with it. Like I said, I often pick up books that are self-published, various people, because I want to see what they have to write and not just basically the highly polished books that come out from the big companies. And sometimes that leads to really gems that nobody knows about, and sometimes I get real turds in book format. It's like if trees poop, these books are what comes out. And I have one such stinker for you today, and it is A Loaded Guide, Astra Galumancy, in intriguing readings of 21 discrete dice rolls by Professor Oddfellow. Let the complaining begin. So yes, I like dice. I collect dice, and I also love divination, so I tend to pick up everything I can find on die divination, because there are not a lot of books on that. And yeah, sometimes you get little gems, and sometimes you get things like this. First of all, why is this book in this sort of magazine format? It's basically, the text is huge. Look at this. The text is huge. If you're going to publish a book with almost no information whatsoever, make it at least just a normal paperback format and have more pages. This just gets difficult to read, difficult to store, and yeah, unless you're doing things with a lot of pictures and such, this is never a good format for a book. I could have forgiven them that if the book is good. It isn't. Yes, that was my phone. Yeah. So let's go through this. It has one of the few things I like about this book is this quote from some named Donald Mackenzie, which says, "He will impart to thee the secret of dice, then wilt thou again have joy. Have some dice, be happy." But yes, it discusses a little bit about platonic solids and how and some very superficial ideas on Greek stuff. Then we get into how to begin the reading, which is very showy put up, and that is probably the only real use of this book, is if you have been invited to some event and you're going to be the fortune teller and you want to make it very showy and you want some sort of system behind it so you don't just pull answers out of your ass, then you might be able to use this somehow. Maybe. Yeah. After a short description of how to make this showy, you have the numbers. Each number have about this. These are the page. Each page have a number, and it goes like this. You have a big illustration of die, you have a big illustration of a number, and then you have a tiny little blurb of text. Sometimes that blurb of text can be used as a divination meaning, other times it can't. Sometimes it's just basically there's nothing. It's not even this on the tall dark stranger reading. It's nothing. I mean, this could be used as a divinationary meaning if you want to stretch it. 4 and 3, lucky 7. The Pythagoreans called number 4 and 3 the number of the right time. 7 is a Chinese auspicious number, symbolizing togetherness. It's basically have a little bit of a blurb on lore or something from literature on each number. Sometimes it makes sense, quite often it doesn't. And sometimes you may have these cheap Bible book drawings to illustrate things for us, or more classical drawings with odd things done to them. I think that there was one that made absolutely... Yes, one, for example, 6 and 1 or half a dozen of the other. Yes. This is me when I missed the Kickstarter for Polyheroes dice, so I did not get the D2 spellbook. So yes, we go through these numbers, and then we have one section here that actually do have a bit of value. These pages here is the only bit of esoteric value in this entire little shitfest. It's basically rolling 2 blank dice, and basically relying on intuition. So instead of seeing numbers, you use the rolling of dice, these blank dice that doesn't really have numbers on them, to signal your intuition to start working. That could actually be a good idea. I want to try that. I think I have some blank die lying around. I think that could be a nice little trick. So I might try that. Then you have one for making dice out of blank die for divination. There's a problem here. Or you can basically make these out of cardboard. A lot of these definitions are the same. A lot of them. And of those that are not exactly the same, basically the meets tall dark stranger and we are all in sync and so on and so forth. Basically the same 2 or 3 meanings have a tendency to be said again and again and again. And yep, that's it. It's just these little blurbs. It has no value. Even if you, like me, are somewhat compulsive about getting the few published books there is on dice divination out there, you can leave this thinker alone. Because that one page on using the blank die, I hadn't considered that before. It's a good idea for getting your intuition kicked into gear. So instead of basically looking at the dice, you roll it and you sort of get your intuition going. That has a bit of value. And I basically, if you're running a sort of showy divination stand thing, I guess it can work, but you will be the least detailed fortune teller in the history of fortune tellers. So basically, if you want to be a crap fortune teller at an amusement fair, this is the guide for you. If that is not your goal, yeah, I guess since I like books and I want to be nice to them, I'll give it 2 out of 10. But really, these are basically what happens when trees have diarrhea. So yeah, that is my review of A Loaded Guide, Astragalomancy, Intriguing Readings of 21 Discrete Dice Rolls by Professor Oddfellow. You have written a horrible book, Professor Oddfellow. Better luck next time. So yeah, have a great day and blessed be.